Hey guys, wanted to make a quick video in regards to how to fix a run in your Clearcoat after painting your car. As you do your research, it seems as if this is a nightmare for most and usually results in a respray. So I'm going to show you one technique that I've tried that I've been pretty successful with, and maybe it'll help someone out there and keep you from having to respray your car and spending money on extra materials. So the little handy tool I have here is called a D-nib tool. I got this on Amazon. I think I paid 10 or 12 bucks for it. One thing I will note, when using it, it does gum up with the Clearcoat. So what I have inside the garage is a wire wheel, and I turn it on low speed and I just barely touch it and it cleans them perfectly for me. So let's come over to the truck. I've already started, but let me show you a run here. Hopefully you guys can see this. Let's see. So you can, let's see if I can focus. There you go. So you can see that run here on the passenger door. Get that focused in a lot. So basically what you want to do, there's grooves on this. Let's see if I can focus. There's a groove on it that cuts in a direction. I think you can see that. So basically all you want to do, focus in. There we go. You just want to lightly sand it over the runs. And what this will do is it's going to sand down all the high spots on the car. And it doesn't really touch the other parts of the car. Just put some scratches in, but it doesn't really take material away as much as it does the high spots of the run. And sorry if this isn't focused. I'm trying with one hand here at the same time. So I go in a couple different directions. I kind of do like an X pattern just to make sure I get all the highs and lows blended out. And I'm kind of applying medium pressure, I guess, not so much light. Kind of comes with, as you start sanding, you'll kind of get an idea of how much you're taking off and how much pressure you're going to need. It doesn't take long. This is a pretty good size run, so. You're just wanting to flatten it to the panel. And we're almost done. Alright, so I wear gloves. It helps me feel the runs a lot better. Run my hand across here, and that feels perfect. So, you can see what I mean. It gums up real easily, so I just run a little wire wheel across that and it fixes it in no time. So that should be good. Next step. Our trusted guide coat. They make it in black and white. Obviously on a white truck, you're gonna wanna use the black. But this is going to help you, show you where you need to sand. Look at that. Let's see if we can focus in. So that's the run that's sanded down. Those are all the scratches. It looks pretty gruesome, however, it's not that bad. So I do the 1, 2, 3 approach, 1,000, 2,000, 3,000, and then buffing. And so I'll show you already here. This has already been done with 1,000. Of course the sun is causing a bad reflection, but yeah, you probably can't see. Well, I'll get this sanded down with 1,000 grit and I will show you what that looks like and the next step. So I got the 1,000 grit sandpaper, got a bucket of water and a little sanding block. All you do is you come up to the panel and you want to do it in circles. Basically the reason why is when you're buffing, the buffer goes in circles. It's easier to get the scratches out. And again, this is 1000 grit, and you can see how quickly it already is starting to make this look a lot better. And again, medium pressure. Advantage of the guide coat is it's going to tell you when you're done. That way you don't keep sanding and risk burning through. Kind of hard to do this with one hand, so let me finish this and I'll be back. So I have the initial scratches all sanded out. Used 1000 grit. I've come back with some guide coat, and it has now outlined my 1000 grit scratches. And now I will remove those with the 2000 grit paper. Again, I'm going 1000, 2000, and 3000. You can see that I've used the tape here to protect my edges, but the guide coat applicator, of course I didn't get it on video, but basically you can run it on the panel and it will only pick up the scratches, so you can go all in this area and it'll only highlight where you need to polish at right there. So it's kind of nice, let you kind of know what needs to be done. So I've kind of blocked my areas. This whole side of the truck had a pretty bad experience in the paint booth, so there's a lot of runs, but it's good experience, practice, and allowed me to make a video for everyone to see and learn something from. So we'll sand it with 2000 and we'll be back. Okay, all of the 1000 grit scratches have been removed with 2000 grit. As you can see, that guide coat basically lets you know when you're done. That way you don't miss any scratches when it comes to your polishing. So next I'll put another layer of guide coat and do a final 3000 grit sand, and we'll move on to polishing. First, let me tell you what I was talking about with how to remove this leftover clear coat. So I just have a stationary grinder and a wire wheel. I turn it on low, turn it on. That's simple, done. Got that from Harbor Freight. So that'll be ready to go. All right. Next step, 3000. Guide coat on for 3000 grit. That'll be my final sand before I move on to polishing. Something I wanted to show you real quick though is when you apply the guide coat, especially in this late of the stage, close to 3000 grit, you may get confused. It might want to stick to some orange peel. What you'll do is get a damp cloth like this and just kind of put medium pressure over your guide coat, and it's going to remove anything that doesn't have scratches, so it's not going to get you distracted. So you know, you see kind of that smudge there, you just kind of wipe it off, and then down here as well. That way you know you're only working where you've been sanding and you're not doing extra work. So you know, see, now I see where I still have some sand marks to do. This is nice because if you miss those and you move on to polishing, it'll take you forever to get those out. Save a step. All right, done sanding with 3000 grit. And as you can see, the truck already has a pretty nice shine to it. You can see it's a little dull there at the bottom half, but should make the polishing stage a lot easier. I wanted to go to 5000 grit, but they were out of stock of it when I went to the store. So if I had the 5000 grit, it would even make it easier to polish. So all the runs are gone, panel smooth, no burn throughs. Pretty happy. All right, on to polishing. Okay, moving on to the buffing stage. Now, I kind of was torn back and forth if I should use my expensive buffer or use more of a DIY economy type buffing pads, which I got these on Amazon for, again, about $12 to $15. Just an electric drill, and this is the 3M Perfect-It 1, 2, 3 compounding stages. We're gonna give these a try and see how they do. I've never used them before, but I think for a a DIY guy, this might be a little easier and obviously a lot more affordable. Let's give it a try. Starting off with compound number 1 with these type, and then the flat ones. These ones are a little bit more aggressive cut. The colors signify the more aggressive to the more fine, starting with orange as the most aggressive, yellow, white, and then black as the most fine. When applying your compound, what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to load the pad first. How I do that is I just do a small little X. I'll rub it in with my finger, put little dots on the panel, and go to town. Part of the buffing has been done. Step 1 on the Perfected, the white bottle. That looks like a mark right there, but it's just a shadow with the light. Looking pretty good. Gonna go with the blue buffing pad and the blue bottle, I believe, is number 2. Got part 2 of the polishing done. Starting to get a very good shine. All my scratches are out. All my runs are gone. The reflection is starting to really show. So now what I'm going to do is remove all my tape and do a final polish. And earlier I said step 2 was the blue bottle. That's actually step 3. Step 2 is the black bottle. So we're going to use the blue bottle, and we're going to use the black buffing pad, which is the fine one. And we're going to do one final buff on this panel and we're done. And she looks perfect. No more runs. Nice glossy shine to it and reflection. And we're in the shade, no less. Wait till it goes out into the sun. So there you go. Here's another way to get rid of clear coat runs on your car and salvage your paint job without having to repaint it, spend extra money on supplies.